Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. And so when you've gone through already educating your people and you've engaged with them, now you have the confidence to trust them, and there's no reason not to trust them once you've gotten to this point. And the key thing is to give them opportunities to make those independent decision making skills so they can feel proud and have that pride in their business to take actions on their own because they know it's already going to be in alignment with the company and the values.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of Engati CX. I'm your host Chandni, and today you folks are in for a treat. We have a customer experience strategist with us on the show today. But before I introduce you to our guest, allow me to introduce you to the magic of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual, no-code digital CX platform available across 14 channels with 45,000 solutions created across 187 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, receiving upwards of 4 lakh visitors annually. And now for our guest, Jill Raff, the founder of Jill Raff Group, is a highly sought after customer experience strategist who's dedicated to co creating solutions for urgent challenges. She provides strategies that guide business owners and executive managers to educate, engage, and entrust employees to create a world class company culture that delivers extraordinary customer experience. Her proprietary inside out framework converts staff into family, thereby increasing engagement and reducing employee turnover. She's also the host of the Celebrity Customer Experience live show. Welcome to the show, Jill.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to join you, Shadini, and all of with Engati. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But before we dive into our interview with Jill, don't forget to subscribe to Engati and tap on the bell icon below to get access to exclusive content from thought leaders around the globe. So, beginning with the interview, Jill, can you tell us about the inside out framework, EX to CX, and how can it make businesses more service focused? And also, what steps do businesses need to follow for the same?
Sure. So start with just an overview, inside out framework, EX to CX. So from employee experience to customer experience. And I call it the inside out framework because I believe that in order to get outstanding customer experience, you have to start inside your company with outstanding employee experience, because it will be that great employee experience which will produce the outstanding customer experiences. It's a simple 5-step process, and it's grounded kind of in Daniel Goleman's concept of EQ over IQ. And I created my E3 formula: educate, engage, and entrust, tapping into those concepts and those ideas because it's the people to people connection. It's the emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, as Daniel Goleman refers to, that's really important, and that's going to make a difference by developing those relationships. So you asked, like, what steps can businesses take? And what I did was created these 5 steps. I thought about what the employee journey is, as well as the customer journey in the business process. And so my inside out framework is really created around what I condensed into 5 steps for the employee experience and the employee journey, which includes, of course, the customer's journey is a part of that. Um, if you apply all of these correctly, ultimately you're going to be resulting in both employee lifetime value increase as well as an increase in your customer lifetime value. And just briefly, overall, the 5 steps of the cycle start with your core values, your mission, your vision. And that has to be clearly defined. I know it's something that people think, oh, it's obvious, and they just write a quick statement, but it's not that simple. It really needs to dive deep into each of those are very different from one another, but how they overlap and align. And then you start out with recruiting according to those core values. And every step along the way in the 5-step process is always reflected back to say, is this in alignment? Is this supporting our goals and our values? And if it is, then you proceed in incorporating that into those 5 steps, which is, the core values, the E3 formula that we just talked about, interviewing and hiring, onboarding, and of course, ongoing and maintaining that education throughout the process to maintain the high quality service that you've now created.
Absolutely well said, Jill. A lot of companies at times forget that, employees are also stakeholders, and, it's very important to take care of them as much as you take care of your customers. So I
Absolutely. They're
absolutely
very important stakeholders at that. And
absolutely.
yeah, and it's interesting. I love that you mentioned about stakeholders, because when this framework is applied, win to the 5th degree. And it starts with the owner and all stakeholders, including, right, the employees. So all stakeholders, anyone who has some skin in the game of the success of that business. It's a win for your vendors and your suppliers, anyone along the supply chain, anywhere that your business, your culture will touch in some way in that journey. Your employees, your customers, and then the community as well, Chandani, because I think it's really important that a business be involved in their community and they give back to their community. And when they do that, the community is naturally going to support them. Having a purpose and a cause is so important today more than ever. And so when you do that, it creates this beautiful, what I think of as the synergistic cycle of win from everyone that your business touches down to your community.
Absolutely. Both internal as well as external stakeholders, both are equally important. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Moving on to our next question. According to you, what defines the celebrity customer experience and how can it increase customer retention?
So it 100% increases customer retention. So first, what is celebrity customer experience? Think about just the word. When we think of a celebrity going in, buying something, what is the experience that they receive? I think we all know that they are pampered, they are given special treatment, they are taken care of to the nth degree. Why is their treatment any more special than yours or mine? Our dollars equal the same amount when deposited into the bank from your sales, right? So I believe strongly and obsessed with the idea that everyone deserves a celebrity customer experience. We are all special. We're there. We've made a choice to give you our time and our dollars. That means we should be treated with the same aspect. And, hospitality, what does the word hospitality mean? It's about being taken care of, being hospitable. When you've gone to someone's home for dinner or for some social occasion, you think about how hospitable they are. It's because they've taken good care of you. And so that's what you should do. You should create that celebrity customer experience with every one of your customers. And part of that, what goes into that and why it increases customer retention, because everyone wants to be acknowledged, to be listened to, and not only listened to, but to be taken care of and to be heard. And when you give someone that personal attention, it's going to come back to you in spades, because that's what everyone wants after all.
Absolutely. I mean, if somebody treats me like a celebrity in a store, I'll go there every day, every single day.
Yeah. And why shouldn't you be treated like a celebrity? You are a celebrity. And for them, you're their customer. You're giving them your money, your services. You're probably going to, if you have a great experience, you're going to go out and tell others about it.
Right.
You should be treated like a celebrity.
Correct. Absolutely. So, what steps can organizations take to deliver celebrity customer experiences? And does enhancing employee experience play a role in this?
Yes, absolutely. So I would say, the first step is, of course, the first step in my framework, which is really establishing and getting super clear on your core values, your mission, and making sure that this vision is included in your philosophy of everything that is done, all systems, all operations, hiring the people in your business. And then you need to train your staff on the E3 formula, which isn't just training. You can train a monkey to smile. You can train someone with a really bad attitude to perform functional skills, but those are not the people you want representing you. And so part of the biggest part of the E3 formula is the first step, which is the foundation of educating. And education is not synonymous with training. Education means you're really educating, teaching the people who touch your business who you are, what you stand for, what's important to you, and how you want them to represent you as a business. And so when you do this, you're going to exceed the expectations, not only of your people internally, but externally with your customers. When you run your organization by this people first philosophy, then everyone's going to know, look, the bottom line is important. We all know that bottom line is what keeps the business going, but employees don't want to feel like the employer is more about the bottom line than they are about them. And when you put your people first and you treat them as they're the most important thing, your bottom line will take care of itself without a doubt. And, you have prioritizing your people means you have to start with investing in them, because they're the ones who are representing you, who are the face to face with your end customers. I really think that your first line customer is in fact your employee. And when you take care of your employees, they will take care of your end customers, your paying customers. You asked about, enhancing the employee experience. Does it play a role? 100%. In fact, studies and statistics have shown that 76% of employees look for other jobs when they don't feel that they're valued. Retention will soar otherwise. So it's, you want people, you want to maintain your retention, you want to increase your retention, you have to make people feel valued, because otherwise people are going to be out looking for other jobs. And Forbes actually states that when an employee feels that their voices are heard, and are heard means that you're actually listening, you're hearing, and you're going to apply some of the ideas that they have, their strategies, that people feel 4.6 times more likely to feel empowered to perform their best job. And so when that workforce is happy, that's when they're creating that celebrity customer experience, and their energy, their happiness will be contagious out to every employee and out to every customer.
That's true. I mean, the employee is like your face of the brand. So I think they should be well treated. Correct. So how can we best engage these employees? And do you think that employment and business culture have transformed the post COVID outbreak?
Without a doubt. So kind of two separate pieces. So starting with, how can you best engage your employees? A couple of ideas. I think I'll start with the big picture. The big picture is creating relationships. The big picture is asking questions and really truly listening to what your people have to say. So one strategy in how to do this would be the daily huddle. It could, what it looks like, how long it lasts, maybe a theme or gamify it, can be determined by each company, the personality of the company, the brand. But I would say keep it really short, and it gives your people a safe place and an opportunity for them to know that they're going to be heard on a daily basis. And you could talk about what's important to them outside of the business. You talk about the values, maybe every day highlight a value of service that's really important, that's a part of your identified values of your company. Celebrate your people, celebrate their wins. These are just some ideas of what you can do in your huddles. There are many ways to do it. And when done right, then it's going to meet the needs of your people, and it's going to empower them. And, again, this is something that you can create on your own internally, but if you need help with this, it's something that I do, and I'd be happy to help you and your company create your daily huddle so that it really is effective and getting the voice heard, so that you can take those ideas and implement them into your business. You could have anonymous comments. You could do surveys, electronically, virtually, or have a comment box as well. I would do both at the workplace, so people can anonymously give you feedback, so they don't have to feel fear of retribution. They can put their name or they don't have to, but it gives them an opportunity to be heard, to express what they want. And again, it all comes down to making sure that your people know that as a manager, you are available and open to have conversations, to hear them, to create that relationship and that connection of trust. Because when you care, when someone knows that you care and that you trust them, then you're going to automatically open up an opportunity for them to tell you about what they really think, and shows you ideas and ways to improve your business. And this is what's going to establish your employee lifetime value, which means less turnover.
Absolutely, absolutely well said, sir. I mean, if when you know that somebody cares for you, you'll always give your best to them. So that's absolutely right. So
Yeah, and I know you asked, I'm sorry, I know you asked about the COVID piece because it's kind of, it's separate. So I think you asked how's it been transformed post COVID-19?
the employment and the whole business sector.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So most definitely it's been influenced. I think it's unfortunate that it's taken COVID, this terrible, horrible pandemic that I wouldn't wish um, to happen. But I always try to look at the positive of everything. And something that I've been speaking about for a long time, way before COVID, is now finally being recognized. And that is that people first, that human connection. And I think through the tragedy and terrible losses and sicknesses that everyone's gone through, we recognize that what matters most at the end of the day is our people. It's the human to connection. And when you show your people that you're there for them, that you generally want to know how are they, and that they're not just there as a role of an employee, then you're going to create that relationship. And that's what's most important, not only to survive through this time period, but to also thrive. And it will create a sustainable business, because when you have those relationships, it actually will help benefit you also, because at a fraction of the cost, you're going to have your people who believe in you, your customers who see you care about them as people first, and they're going to be the ones supporting you. They're going to go out and talk about you on social media. They're going to tell their friends what a great experience you have and how you care about your people first. And that is worth everything. I mean, the truth is, Oracle said that 89% of customers begin business with a competitor following a poor customer experience. So the contrary is true. If you give them a great experience, they're going to stay with you and they're going to go tell more people about you. So this is an opportunity that unfortunately has happened at the expense of so much tragedy, but it's given us tragedy always, I think, presents ideas to reinvent ourselves. And it's given us an opportunity to really develop the relationships with our people, both employees and customers.
Absolutely. So moving on to our next question. You've talked in great detail about creating an E3 educate, engage, and trust system. So could you shed some light on the system you refer to as the E3 formula?
Sure. So my E3 formula, as I mentioned before, is a nod to Daniel Goleman's work around emotional intelligence. And that ties into the idea that we need to connect with human skills, not just technical skills and not just always about business. And so it starts with the educate piece that I talked on before. And the key part of that is recognizing that education is not synonymous with training. It really is different. And one of the things that I do with clients is help them develop an educational manual. So my idea and suggestion is to create, everyone has their operational manual, their training manual, but I think you need to first, before you do your operations manual, create an educational manual. And anyone you hire, take them through the educational manual, which will teach them all of those things about your values, about your expectations, so they know coming in, what is expected of me? What kind of attitude should I have? Where's my passion? What do I want to do? How do I serve? And when you do that first, Then you move to the operations manual, but it will also really help you be able to save a lot of resources potentially on turnover, or maybe not even hiring someone in the beginning if you recognize whether that person's really the right person for your team or not. Engagement, of course, is huge. 147% more profits come from engaged employees. That's according to the Gallup polls. And I think engagement will make us realize that the greatest asset we have in our company is really the human capital, and creating that work family that you had mentioned in the beginning, looking at the talent pool that you have within and really maximizing your people, their skills, their contributions to your business. And lastly is in trust. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. And so when you've gone through already educating your people and you've engaged with them, now you have the confidence to trust them, and there's no reason not to trust them once you've gotten to this point. And the key thing is to give them opportunities to make those independent decision-making skills so they can feel proud and have that pride in their business to take actions on their own because they know it's already going to be in alignment with the company and the values. Don't micromanage them. Another idea, which, micromanaging creates distrust for the people. So in order to do that, let people have their wings, let them have some of that power, let them feel engaged in a way to take that those decisions on their own. And one way to help create a larger environment of trust for the longer impact for your people would be one, maybe to cross-train your people, especially in a time now post-COVID, where someone's not always, in the workplace doing one thing. It's a great opportunity to cross-train your people across different responsibilities and hold people accountable for different things, which ultimately, once we get through this, is going to make you a much stronger business all across your entire journey of every responsibility needed. And lastly, to train with purpose, not to just train to get them through and get them out in front of the customer. Be intentional about everything that you're doing. Again, keeping the core value as the number one central thread, that central theme throughout all your training and your education, of course.
That's amazing. I mean, yes, absolutely. We have to always keep the core value in mind and not deviate from there. And that is one very important thing. Thank you. So,
Sure.
Jill, before we end up with the interview, any other sound bites that you would like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, I would say, just to really sum it up, is my motto that I go by on my business card, and I have a book. It's called Transforming Transactions into Interactions. And as a company, the goal, all of this, when it's applied correctly, really transforms a transaction, which is an exchange of goods and services for money, which is cold and impersonal and nothing human about it. It transforms that transaction into an interaction. And when you create an interaction, you're creating the relationships. And when you take the real relationships, you then make the connection. And connection singular, not connections plural, which is a way of personal or professional gain, but connection, human to human connection, that will equal profit for your business. So transform transactions into interactions. And just lastly, I'd like to offer a gift for everyone here to get them started on creating those relationships with their people, their employees, and their customers. It's called my CX checklist, CX, of course, for customer experience. And they will be in the notes, but you can find that on my website, which is my name, jillraff.com. And Raff is spelled R like Ronald, A like apple pie, and F like French fry. So Jill Raff, RAFF.com/CX checklist.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you for giving us your time. Your insights were precious, and I know our audience is going to absolutely enjoy the interview. We'll be back with a whole new episode and a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one. Thank you.